roast turkey breast. It's a holiday favorite, and recently Kathy and I took a cruise on Norwegian Jade around Thanksgiving, and in the carving station they had roast turkey that they were carving. So today I'm going to make my own version of roast turkey that's slightly more simple than the whole bird, and it should be really not too bad to cook at home. So let's give it a shot. So let's start with this guy. So this is our turkey breast, both breasts. I have used the legs and the wings earlier to make turkey stock, and so I cut the turkey kind of in half. So what I have here is the turkey breasts on the bone without the back or the wings or anything else. It has been brining for about 3 days in a salt and sugar plus some other things in here in the refrigerator. So it should be ready to go. I like to brine the turkey because it seasons it internally due to the osmotic action, and it should make everything good. So I'm just going to put that in the sink for now until we're ready to deal with that. Okay, but inside the turkey, or not inside, but under the skin of the turkey, we're going to make a compound butter and put some herbs that I have here, some thyme and rosemary and some parsley that I'm going to just chop up and make a compound butter and put it underneath the skin for roasting. I'm going to make this turkey just for use in sandwiches and maybe one meal. I am not going to try to make the skin crispy, so I'm not worried about that at all. I'm going to use the skin to help to keep the turkey moist, and we'll see how we make change to the temperature of the oven to make that happen. So let's start with our compound butter. I'm going to take about half a stick of butter, so a couple ounces of butter that we'll use, and just put it in this nice bowl here, and I'm just going to rough chop some of this parsley. I'll take most of the stems off, but I'm really not super concerned about that because this is just going to go under the turkey skin for seasoning, so it doesn't have to be too fancy. At the time, I'll just leave it on the stems. Again, not super important. Just chop this up. Not super fine. It doesn't, again, none of this really matters. All you're doing is you're making this into kind of an herb mixture that you can put inside the butter to help season the turkey a little bit. Because the turkey, we're not going to use salt or pepper anymore because we've used plenty of seasoning. And we'll go ahead and stick that on our butter. Now, to make the compound butter with the herbs in it, you're just going to need to mush all this into the butter. A lot of times you mush it and then roll it again and make it so it's nice and pretty. Don't care. I'm going to use a glove to do this, just to keep my hand a little bit clean. We're going to use gloves a few times. Dealing with raw poultry, you're not going to want to use your hands too much. So I'm just going to take the butter and squeeze it. Oops, stay in there. Just going to capture all the herbage inside the butter. Again, this doesn't need salt, pepper, or anything. All of that is already on board Mr. Turkey. Okay, that's our compound butter. Clean my hands off a little bit. That's why I use gloves. And I'm just going to get our turkey ready to roast. So let me get all this out of the way, and we'll move on to the turkey and show what we're going to do with that. Put this in the refrigerator. Okay, we're ready to get the turkey kind of ready to cook. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the oven to 340, and that's like 170 Celsius. That's what we're going to roast it at. So we're going to get that warmed up. We're going to roast it at a relatively low temperature for this, because again, I'm not concerned about making the skin crispy. I just want to render all the fat that's in the skin and try to keep the turkey breast moist while it roasts. If you cook it at a higher temperature, you can get the skin crispy, but you also run the risk of drying out the turkey breast, which is something I really don't want to do. Now, on the cruise ship, the turkey breast ended up being kind of dry, but I think it's because they just need to get it done. So I'm going to get it out of the brine and just get it over here. Try to get as much of the brine off of it as you can. If there's any weirdness, get rid of it. All right, I'm gonna move it over to another cutting board. I'm going to grab some paper towels and we're gonna dry this off a little bit. It helps to roast a drier turkey, at least to begin with. You don't wanna have too much moisture in there that'll steam the turkey. That's not really what we wanna do, so we're gonna do that. I have this little flabby piece of skin here. It's not really something that we want to keep, so let me just grab a knife here and we'll cut that off. Okay. So our turkey is ready to move on to get our butter underneath the skin. So we're gonna try to somewhat gently make a pocket under the skin with our fingers without tearing it off the bird. You have to be just kind of delicate with this. There'll be some areas where it'll come right off, like right there. There are some areas where it will stick to the skin, and don't really fight it. If it wants to stick, let it stick. So I can see I can get a cavity kind of right through there. You can go the other way. It's a little more difficult to go in through the back, but you might be able to do it. It's better to just try to get it without trying to tear. You don't want to tear the skin too much. Okay, I'm okay with that. I can maybe get a little bit further. Don't want to tear, but I do. If you keep working at it, it'll kind of open up a little more. All right, I'm happy. Let's get our butter out of the refrigerator. I'm gonna take my left-hand glove off so I don't get everything all gooey in the refrigerator. Grab our compound butter. Use my right hand, and I'm pretty much just going to go underneath the skin and move that under there. Just kind of mushing it along as best you can. All right. I'm gonna need another glove here. Like I said, we're gonna go through some gloves when we do this. It's just the nature of the beast. So this is hard to do with one hand, so we'll put this glove on if I can get it on. There we go. And use that to help me get the butter in there. That's much easier. Again, perfection is never gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Just get as much of that in there as you can. Kind of shoving it under the skin. If you have extra, you can put it on top of the skin. It's gonna look like an obscene amount of butter, but the turkey's got a ways to cook, so it'll really help keeping it moist if you get all the butter in there. And it'll kind of flow through the turkey as it's cooking. All right. And you can move it on top of the skin like that. All right. Let's just kind of see what I can do. There we go. I got a little bit of hole in the back. We'll get that in there. Or the front. No, this is the back. Kind of hard to tell when it's like this. All right. If you got extra, just kind of mush it on the skin like that. Everything's cool. All right, our turkey is lubed up. and got your nice compound butter in there or on board, at least as best you can. Again, we're not really super concerned about perfection here. All right. At this point, we're ready to roast it, but you have to concern yourself with how are you going to do that. What kind of roasting pan? What are you going to do? What else is going to go with the turkey? So let's get ourselves set for that. I'll take off this set of gloves, and I'm sure I'll put on another set in a minute, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get ready. Okay, I got some just stuff here. Got some of these nice little baby carrots. Aren't they cute? We're just going to take some of those, and this is going to go on the bottom of our pan. This helps. I don't need to cut these at all. It helps add some moisture. I also have an apple. Take the tag off, not that it matters. Oops. And I'm just going to cut this into pieces. I'm cutting them kind of thin because they need to fit under in our roasting rig. Apple is a nice thing that isn't really add strong flavor or anything, but it's got a lot of moisture in it, so that will help keep moisture in the oven as we cook. Okay, so that's ready to go. So the next thing is we're going to need our place we're going to put this. So what are we going to cook our turkey in? I got a sheet pan here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put our stuff that apple and our carrots just kind of in the middle like this. Okay. Next is I'm going to kind of MacGyver this rig a little bit. This is a attachment that goes in our air fryer, toaster oven thing. And if I do this, it will fit pretty well into the sheet pan. And I can take our turkey, let me use this, and go ahead and put the turkey right on top of the pan, like this. So what we have here is sort of a manufactured roasting pan with the turkey breast on the top, the apples and carrots, and you could have whatever, onions, whatever you got that is a little bit moist, you can put in there. And at this point, this is ready to go. How long is it going to take? I don't know. How long is a piece of string? This is going to be done by temperature. So I'm going to use a probe that I'll place in the thickest part of the breast and monitor the temperature as it cooks. I'm going to try to get to about 155. I know. You're supposed to cook this to 163 or 165 or higher. If I cook it to 155 and then let it rest for 20 minutes, it will carry over cook to the ideal temperature that we want to get to. So that's our goal. This will take, I'm going to guess, because this is about a 4-pound piece of turkey at this point, about 2 hours or so at 340. So we'll give it a go and see what we get. So we'll be back in a couple hours and see what we came up with. What I'm going to do is let it cool quite a bit before I take it off the breast and then deal with it. So let me get it out of the oven. We'll take a look. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit for a while. As I said, I wasn't trying to get crispy skin, so I'm gonna remove the skin once it's cool enough. I'm gonna take a little bit of some temperatures just to make sure we're good. If I can find it. There we go. Oops. So it's always good to just take a couple of spot things. Again, I pulled this at 155. Our ideal temperature for service is 163. I'm way over there. Good there. Good there. Yeah. Okay, so this is done. So at this point, we're going to just let this rest. I'm going to leave the skin on for now. Once it's cooled off, I'll just cut the skin off or take the skin off. It should just pretty much come off on its own. And then we'll take the breasts off whole. I always like to take the breasts off in one chunk, and then once they're off, it's much easier to either slice them for like a dinner service or slice them for sandwich meat. So for now, this is going to sit, and it's probably going to sit for an hour. So we'll be back. Okay, we have waited long enough. I'm going to just go ahead and move this over to a cutting board. Get rid of that. And we're going to go ahead and take off the breasts. Well, let's do this. Let's take off the skin first. So let's see if it fights me. I'm just going to go ahead and peel it off. Now, certainly there's good uses for skin. It's flavorful, but for what we're doing today, I really don't need it. And it gets kind of in the way. I'll clean up some of our herbage that we used. Looks very moist. I can see it's moist. All right. So we're going to cut these breasts off. Now, I have something special for you today that I only use on very rare occasions. I'm going to take this glove off because I'll hold this with the other hand. It's the Hamilton Beach electric knife. Oh yeah. Only used for turkeys and really big cuts of meat. It's really nice to have because it doesn't make you work to cut, so you're not going to tear the meat too much. So I'm just start at the keel bone. Just follow the keel bone down. And you'll run into some resistance. You're going to go to the side and go in low here. And just cut vertically across. Then you're just going to work your way around. You can peel it back with your hand. And there you go. You got a nice turkey breast. Didn't leave too much on here. But what we can do is pull off a piece here and test this. I'll do the same for the other side, but this will work fine. I'll let it cool all the way off, slice it up for sandwiches, I think. But let's see how our turkey is. I can tell right now it's very moist. There we go. The brining gets all the flavoring all the way through the turkey. It's really moist. I mean, you can see the moistness coming off of it. It's a really solid turkey. So there you go. You can buy turkey breasts just by themselves at the grocery store. This turkey was purchased like a week after Thanksgiving when they really discount them. So I bought it then and then just left it frozen. And today was the day, well, not today, about a week ago, I started the thawing process, brined it about 3 days ago, and then we roasted it today. But really inexpensive for a large amount of meat, and it's really good. So I say this is way better than what we have in the carving station on the cruise ship. So if you like recipes like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Once again, I'm Pat from Calm Sea Cooks. Check out our other channel, Calm Sea Cruise, to see our adventures on the cruise ships. And we'll all talk to you later. Bye. Very good. Very good. It's really good. Best turkey ever.